Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rusty 78609 in Central Texas, and I just want to pass along some information that I ran across on my quote news. I have a news page that I pull in stories from that may be of interest to me, and there is a story that is of interest to me and probably will be of interest to some of you if you travel in the southwestern U.S. or if you live in the southwestern U.S. I wouldn't say it's a crisis, but it's something you need to be aware of. Why? And I'll tell you in a minute. If you go to the Las Cruces Sun News and look at a story that was published on March the 11th, 2019, it's titled, "Deadly Disease Lives in Soils of New Mexico." Now, if you're a reporter and you come up with a story, then there's a guy that writes that headline. Okay, they call them head writers. Sometimes the reporter does it themselves. Sometimes there's actually a person that does the headlines. All right, so they do that to draw attention. So the story is probably 10 times exaggerated. All right, because have I traveled in New Mexico in the Southwest and Arizona, parts of Southern California, parts of Nevada, and all over western Texas? Yes. I've been doing it for 25 years. Have I ever died? Not yet. But anyway, but it is of interest to be aware of it, and I'll tell you why in just a second. Because I'm going to click on the story, go to it, and it says, beware, big headlines, beware the spore, S-P-O-R-E, fungus in New Mexico soils causes serious illness. Valley fever, that's what they've labeled it, valley fever caused by a spore that resides in the soils of the Southwest is more prevalent in New Mexico than many realize. It can be deadly. Now that's the headline. So you got to know that that is totally exaggerated, you know, because they go on. The Center for Disease Control has called it a silent epidemic, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, and then they have a story about some people that have contracted the disease, and they even have a map of the part of the United States that's been affected by it, you know, whether it's an established epidemic, a highly epidemic, or suspected endemic. I said epidemic, endemic. It says valley fever is endemic or believed to be endemic across much of the Southwest. Let me find out what that word means. Hey Google, what does endemic mean?
Here's the definition of endemic: of a disease or condition regularly found among particular people or in a certain area.
Okay, it says restricted to a certain place, found among particular people in a certain area. So it's, but anyway, the only reason I'm mentioning this is because after I read the entire story and read some actual stories by people that had contracted this, quote, disease or illness called valley fever. I think that's what the locals or somebody labeled it anyway. Yeah, valley fever. It also has symptoms that appear to be like a pneumonia. So you could contract the illness in the Southwest, go back home to the Northeast, and 3 weeks later come down with these symptoms that appear to be pneumonia. Well, the doctors in those areas, and even in the Southwest, are not good at diagnosing this particular, quote, valley fever. The reason I'm doing this video is not to blow it up out of proportion, because I think it already is, but it does make a good story in the newspaper. And if you're a reporter, that's what you do, is you report stories, and you better make good ones, because if you don't get readership, then your newspaper goes out of business and you lose your job. So you better exaggerate the hell out of them if you can. You'll go right to the borderline, and you're right to the line of legal and illegal or lying. And anyway, enough said about that. The whole point of this video is just to give you a heads up that this valley fever exists. Number two is that it has symptoms which can be associated with other illnesses. And so what you'll be doing, you'll be in the hospital or wherever, and your doctor may be treating you for other illnesses which aren't doing, and the treatments aren't doing any good. And if you tell the doctor about this valley fever and tell him about this doctor that lives out there, let's see if I can find this doctor's name for those of you that probably won't read the article. There is a doctor that has done a lot of, here he is right here. His name is, this is a good name. You'll remember this one. His name is Dr. Obi, O-B-I, Okoli, O-K-O-L-I. He says a Las Cruces infectious diseases physician who has developed a specialty in treating valley fever. Okay? Well, when you see Dr. Obi Okoli, then you'll understand. But anyway, he says, and I'm sure he's correct, that doctors are not aware of this particular disease, so they don't treat people for it because the same symptoms are associated with other diseases. So that's the whole point of this video, just to give you a heads up. If you travel in the Southwest, if you live in the Southwest, and you come down with something that's like pneumonia, and the doctor's treating you, they just ain't nothing good going on, ask them to contact Dr. Obli or Obeli, or however you pronounce his name, O-K-O-L-I, Okoli, in Las Cruces, and see if there's something that might be done in the way of treating you for, quote, valley fever. And that's all I wanted to tell you, because I travel in the Southwest, in New Mexico, Arizona. I go to Big Bend, and that's part of their, when they show the areas that are affected, you know, the area where I live right now is one of the areas that's affected. They're right on the edge. And so, you know, have I ever lived in areas where this, quote, valley fever could have existed? Yeah, I've lived in them I'm 73 years old, and probably 25 of those I've lived in those areas or been in them. So having said that, guys, if you're out and about and you travel in the Southwest and you get home and you feel a little weird and your doctor starts treating you and nothing's doing any good, remember valley fever. Okay, just remember that, because that's a fungus, and that's a whole new way. That has to be treated a whole new way other than like a virus or bacteria or whatever. But anyway, having said that, from Central Texas, USA, giving you a heads up on that, this is Rusty78609 saying thumbs up, carpe diem, adios, bye-bye. Buy anything you want, but if you think about it, use the link to Amazon products in the description of all of my videos. Why? Because I get a small commission, doesn't cost you 1 penny. What else? Drink plenty of water, stretch, walk, take deep breaths, do all that stuff. And when you're in New Mexico or any in the Southwest, anywhere actually, beware. Don't you know, if there's a dust storm and you can cover your face, you know, you might want to do it, particularly if you're old like me, 73, your immune system is really low, not good. And so, yeah, just be careful, and, you know, don't be disturbed. Anyway, do what you got to do. And for, you know, I just want to tell you that if you happen to start feeling crappy after having traveled in that area, just remember that there is a thing called valley fever, and it is a fungus, okay? Anyway, thumbs up, guys. Enjoy your day. Adios. Bye-bye.